In today's world, political discourse is more divisive, convoluted, and seemingly disconnected from the needs of the people than ever before. The disturbing truth is that we have allowed the political elites to drive the narrative, undermining the very essence of democracy. It's become a game, a battle for power and control, with ordinary citizens as mere spectators on the sidelines, watching as their interests are ignored, manipulated, and trampled upon. There's no room for half measures here. We need a political revolution that returns power to the people, not just in theory but in action. The status quo is not only outdated, it's downright dangerous. The fundamental flaw of contemporary politics is the disconnection between those in power and those they claim to represent. Politicians, far too often, operate with an arrogant sense of entitlement. They play to their donors, cater to their corporate overlords, and pass legislation that benefits the few while hurting the many. Their promises during election seasons are empty, mere platitudes designed to garner votes while allowing them to continue enriching themselves at the expense of the working class. This is not democracy, it's a puppet show, and the people are the puppets. Let's be clear, the political establishment has lost its moral compass. It's not just a matter of ideological differences, this is a matter of ethics, of a fundamental failure to serve the public good. Politicians today are more concerned with their next re-election campaign than they are with the well-being of their constituents. Their political careers are built on the backs of the disadvantaged, and they perpetuate systems that keep power concentrated in the hands of the few. Meanwhile, the working class, the middle class, and anyone struggling to get by continue to bear the brunt of these decisions. Take a hard look at the state of our nation. Whether you lean left or right, the reality is the same. Economic inequality is soaring, and political corruption is rampant. The globalized economy, fueled by neoliberal policies, has been rigged in favor of multinational corporations, leaving small businesses and local communities to suffer. Politicians, eager to maintain their grip on power, have dismantled any meaningful regulation that might have curbed corporate greed. Instead, they've enacted policies that directly benefit the super wealthy, leaving the working class to pick up the tab. It's a betrayal of everything democracy was supposed to stand for. The time for compromise is over. There is no middle ground to be had when it comes to the systemic issues facing our society. The political establishment's failure to address climate change, healthcare, education, and the economy is not a sign of incompetence. It's a deliberate choice to ignore the public in favor of corporate interests. It's no longer acceptable to simply tinker around the edges of policy reform. We need sweeping change. We need leaders who understand that power should be used to uplift the people, not to consolidate control among a select few. Now, you might argue that a certain level of compromise is necessary to get anything done. But the reality is, this kind of thinking has only prolonged the suffering of the masses. Look at the history of major political reforms. Whether it was civil rights, labor rights, or even women's suffrage, they weren't won through compromise. They were fought for, often by marginalized groups who refused to accept the crumbs politicians were willing to offer. It's time for that same unapologetic, relentless spirit to infuse the political landscape once again. The people are tired of waiting for incremental change. They demand a system that works for them, not for the rich and powerful. What's more, we must recognize that the political system itself is fundamentally broken. Campaign finance reform, gerrymandering, and voter suppression have turned elections into a farce. The power of corporate money in politics has allowed a few wealthy individuals to decide the outcome of elections before a single vote is cast. Political leaders no longer represent the people. They represent their donors, and this has led to policies that prioritize profit over people. This is not just a flaw in the system, it's the system itself. It's time to tear it down and rebuild something that works for everyone. We cannot afford to sit back and hope for change to come from within the system. History has shown time and time again that real change comes when people rise up, demand more, and refuse to be placated by the empty promises of politicians. The old ways of doing politics, playing nice, seeking consensus, compromising for the sake of compromise, have failed. We need a new wave of leaders who are willing to make bold, unapologetic decisions that prioritize the well-being of the people above all else. This isn't about party lines or political ideologies. This is about power. The time has come to reclaim it. We must tear down the walls that have been built between the people and those who claim to represent them. We need a system that values the dignity and rights of every individual, not just those with the money and influence to buy their way to the top. This is the true fight for democracy, and it's one we cannot afford to lose.